Hey, it's Nick. How you doing? I just got back from seeing West Side Story a second time. Seen it now twice in 4 days. It's so great. It's just so great. One of the main reasons I went, because I wanted to see it again, was because I've never been to the AMC Block 37 theater in the Loop on State Street as part of the big Block 37 mall. It's on the 4th floor. Boy, that place sucks. I've never been there before. I was curious. I know it's been around for a bunch of years. I just never had a chance to go down there. It's located in the mall there on State Street, and it's on the 4th floor. Take the elevator up, and it's this really badly laid out AMC multiplex with, like, the theaters are really shoebox small. And I just thought, I think that place sucks. I don't know if I'll be going back there. It's a very easy train ride on the Blue Line, and you don't even have to walk outside. You get off the Blue Line, you walk under, you take an elevator up to the theater. It's easy to get to, but not a great place to see, especially a big movie like West Side Story. And there were a lot of goofballs in the audience who wouldn't stop talking, and it's one of those dine-in theaters, but it's really annoying because they come in and they serve you food, and I was most disappointed because right where that building is, that whole block area right there used to house a couple of the best, Loop grindhouse theaters of all time. There was the United Artists, which was at Dearborn and Randolph, and then there was the Roosevelt Theater, which is where the area where the AMC theater is, and that used to be a great grindhouse on State Street. So I just felt depressed. I was like, I used to come down to this very piece of land and watch great movies in the 70s at the Roosevelt Theater, and now I'm watching a really great movie in a really shitty multiplex. I don't know. Anyway, so that Block 37, that place sucks. You suck. Okay. Anyway, hi. It's the YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's free. It's awesome. Check me out on Patreon, where you can be a patron and help me keep doing videos and keep entertaining you. And also, if you become a patron on one of the pay tiers, if you donate, you get exclusive and new videos and other stuff that people don't get, including behind-the-scenes stuff from WGN. Okay, I had thrown something up on the old Facebookaroo page about I happen to like to see movies over and over and over again. I could watch movies a million times. I'm one of those people. I know there are a lot of people who are like, how can you watch that movie again? Or how can you go and see that movie again? I happen to be one of those people that really loves watching movies. I could watch a movie. If I really, really like a movie, I can watch it over and over and over and over and over again. So up on my little Facebook there, Pagely, I was like, hey, what movies do you like to watch over and over again? I had to put on my old man Walgreens glasses. Hi. So I've got a whole bunch of responses here. That people left on my Facebook page of movie. I said, hey, what movies do you like to see over and over again? What movies do you know by heart? That's the topic of this here video, is movies that you could watch over and over again, movies that you know by heart. What are the movies that you've seen the most? So here are a bunch of first of all, let me just make a blanket statement. I got a bunch of great responses. Thank you so much. This is what I want to do. I want to interact with you guys. That's what I'll be doing on my podcast, too. When I get my podcast, RadioMisfits.com. I'll be part of the Radio Misfits podcast family starting in late January. And we'll be communicating like this. But I just want to make a blanket statement. I got a fucking ton of Godfathers, okay? All right? Lots of Goodfellas and lots of Blues Brothers. So let me just say that without saying your names. I would say 85% of the responses I got and the messages I got included The Godfather, Goodfellas, and Blues Brothers. So there you go. Let's get those out of the way. My buddy Dan, whose birthday I believe was yesterday, he says Cars and Cars 2 because he's a parent. Okay. Beeve, my good buddy Beeve, he says Caddyshack. We'll get to that one in a minute. Also a good friend of mine, Val, she says Jaws and The Great Race. Knows those by heart. Kimberly says Amadeus, Goodfellas, again. Happy Gilmore and Friday. Daniel sent in a list of about 8 million movies, and I'm not going to read them all because I don't have till next Monday. But he's got The Burbs, Big Lebowski, the Star Wars trilogy, Terminator 2, Tommy Boy. My cousin Jackie, hi Jackie, my cuz, loves School of Rock. That's one that I watch all the time too. Brian says my favorite year. Rob says The Dresser, Spinal Tap, Holy Grail, Princess Bride. Soren says The Matrix and The Breakfast Club. Susan says Rosemary's Baby, Halloween, The Shining, Bridesmaids, and The Christmas Story, and more. She had more too. Megan says The Goonies. That movie sucks. Chuck says Airplane. Chris, who I used to work with at WGN, says Shawshank Redemption. And thanks a lot, TNT and TBS, she says. Craig says Buckaroo Banzai, Big Lebowski, Repo Man. Those are good choices. Tim, another guy who left a bunch of them, most of them 70s movies. Tim likes 70s movies. Tim, by the way, Tim O'Neill is so much fun to follow on Facebook. Tim, if you're watching this, he posts a lot about movies and movies from the 70s and 80s, and posts like ads from Chicago newspapers, and he is a big fan of the old Chicago movie theaters and houses. Tim's a great guy to follow on Facebook. Anyway, he says Rocky, Taxi Driver, Conversations, Jaws, King of Comedy. Cameron, my buddy Cameron, he also had a list of about 6,000. Let me get through a bunch of them. The Last Dragon, Coming to America, Back to the Future trilogy, Die Hard, the first 3, Do the Right Thing, The Birds, Black Panther. He also had like 20 more. Anne has About Last Night for some reason. I don't understand that. Jim says Shattered Glass, Groundhog Day, and Midnight Run. George Karzis, my good friend George Karzis. George Karzis is the man. He runs the Gale Street Inn, the greatest restaurant on the planet. Check out galestreet.com. Go there, eat, have fun. It's the greatest restaurant in the world. And George is a great guy. George Karzis is the best. Gale Street Inn, thank you, George. George says Von Ryan's Express, The Dirty Dozen, Saving Private Ryan. I'm seeing a trend here. Rocky, Forrest Gump, Fugitive. He's got a couple more. Wendy says Empire Records. Kirk, my buddy Kirk Pinchon, says no one, and I mean no one, knows white men can't jump more than me. That's what Kirk says. Sean, my buddy Sean Abley, fantastic dude. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and Desperate Living are all on his list. Scott Fricky, I went to high school with Scott. Hi, Scott. Says John Carpenter's The Thing, Field of Dreams, and The Godfather, as he mentioned. And then my buddy the mayor, Don, says Dawn of the Dead, both of them, the original one and the remake. So I love to watch movies over and over again. It's comfort for me. I've been in relationships with women who have been like, watching. They would, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I'm watching this movie. And she's like, they would say like, well, you've seen it 50 times. Why are you watching it again? Because I fucking like it. So some people just don't understand how you can watch. And I mean, that's cool. A lot of people do not understand how you can watch a movie over and over and over again. I'm one of those people. If I like a movie, I'll fucking watch it 100 times. So my list is massive, but I narrowed it down to the 5 movies that, without question, are the 5 movies that I've seen the most and that I know by heart and that I could literally recite. So I've got those 5, but then I'll rattle off a bunch of titles that I watch that I've probably seen hundreds of times as well. But before this, I do want to mention my second wife, Heather, was obsessed with the movie Some Kind of Wonderful. You know the movie. It's Eric Stoltz and Mary Stuart Masterson, Leah Thompson, Craig Sheffer, Elias Koteas. My second wife, Heather, fucking loved Some Kind of Wonderful. It's still, she does. It's her favorite movie ever, and she knows every line of dialogue to that movie. Let me just say something to you. Heather and I were together for, I don't know, a total of like 6 years, 6.5 years. And in that time, we watched Some Kind of Wonderful a lot. Now, it's a movie that I could do with or without. It's fine. I really like Mary Stuart Masterson in it. I don't think it's a great movie. It's just Pretty in Pink, a second Pretty in Time again, but they switched who gets the main person in it. They switched the sexes. Anyway, but Heather loves this movie. So I used to love to watch it with her because she knew every line. So I would literally watch her while watching it, and she knew every gesture.